A tiny USB drive burned in my palm, heavy with secrets that could unravel an empire of lies. In the glass-walled office, Vanessa Cole's eyes sliced through me, sharp and cold, as if she could erase my existence with a single glance. I stood there, Daniel Harper, my heart pounding but my face a mask of calm. Vanessa leaned back in her sleek chair, her tailored blazer catching the fluorescent light. "You're not cut out for this, Daniel. The Everstream project needs a visionary, not a cog in the machine." Her words landed like a slap, but I'd felt worse. The Everstream app. My redesign had slashed $500,000 from its budget, streamlining the interface until it sang. I'd poured months into it, late nights blurring into dawn, my laptop glowing in the dark. "That was my redesign," I said, voice steady despite the fire in my chest. "I shaved $500,000 off the budget. You presented it, sure, but I built it." Vanessa waved a manicured hand, dismissing me like a fly. "My vision, Daniel. I pitched it to the board. You just executed." Her lips curled, a smirk that said she'd already won. The glass walls around us did little to muffle the hum of the office beyond. I could feel the weight of curious glances from my colleagues at Pinnacle Innovations, their eyes darting over cubicle partitions. They knew something was up. They always did when Vanessa called someone in. "My job is to support you, right?" I said, letting the words hang. "But this isn't working for me either. I'll clear out by Friday. Monday's going to be worth watching." Vanessa's smirk faltered, just for a split second, before she rolled her eyes. "Always so dramatic. That's why you'll never climb higher than this." Her chair creaked as she leaned forward, voice dropping low. "You don't get it, do you? Hierarchy matters here. Know your place." The air grew thick, her words a challenge, daring me to snap. I didn't. Instead, I nodded, slow and deliberate, a strange calm settling over me like a shield. As I turned to leave, her assistant knocked, breaking the tension. "Vanessa, the Horizon Tech rep is early for your 3 o'clock. Wants to discuss Portland Connect." Vanessa's eyes flicked to me, a flash of something, worry, maybe, before she waved the assistant off. "Tell them I'm tied up." I caught it though. Portland Connect. A project I'd never touched, yet the name tugged at me, familiar in a way that made my gut twist. I walked out, my shoes clicking on the polished floor, the office buzzing around me. My desk waited, a cluttered sanctuary of mock-ups and coffee stains. I slipped the USB from my pocket, its weight a quiet promise. Whatever Vanessa was playing at, I wasn't done yet. My hand brushed the drawer where I kept my backups, years of designs and emails, my insurance against her games. I didn't open it. Not yet. But the thought of it steadied me, a lifeline in the storm. Before we dive deeper into this roller coaster of a story, let me know where you're tuning in from. If you're hooked already, hit that subscribe button to keep the journey going. Your support means everything. I sat down, the chair creaking under me, and stared at my screen. Vanessa thought she'd won, but she didn't know what was coming. The USB in my pocket felt heavier now, a ticking bomb waiting for its moment. The hum of the office faded as I sank into my chair, the USB still warm in my pocket. My screen glowed with a half-finished mock-up, but my mind drifted, pulling me back through the years that led me here. Every step, every sacrifice, had built me into Daniel Harper, a UI/UX designer who could make an app feel like an extension of the soul. Yet here I was, on the edge of losing it all. I started as an intern, barely 20, sketching wireframes on napkins in a cramped Chicago studio. Those days were brutal, fueled by cheap coffee and ambition, but they taught me to see the world through users' eyes. I clawed my way up, project by project, until Pinnacle Innovations offered me a senior role in San Francisco. The promise was intoxicating: creative freedom, a chance to shape the future of tech. My Community Hub app, designed to connect neighborhoods through shared resources, became the company's pride, its clean lines and intuitive flow earning awards. I'd watched strangers use it in cafes, their smiles a quiet victory I carried in my chest. Then Vanessa Cole arrived. Hired as a project manager, She moved like a predator, all sharp smiles and calculated charm. Within months, she'd woven herself into the orbit of Arthur Klein, our aging founder. She'd linger after meetings, her laughter filling his office, or invite him to exclusive tech summits, her name always tied to his. 18 months later, she was head of design, the youngest in Pinnacle's history. I admired her at first, mistaking her confidence for brilliance. She'd lean over my desk, asking about my process, her questions so precise I thought she cared. I shared ideas freely, believing we were a team. The shift came. Slowly, like a tide I didn't notice until I was underwater. My designs started appearing in her presentations uncredited. She'd pitch my concepts to clients, her voice smooth as she claimed them. Daniel laid the groundwork, she'd say, but I shaped it into something real. At first I shrugged it off, thinking recognition would come naturally. But the Community Hub Awards ceremony burned that hope to ash. Vanessa stood on stage, her hands clutching the trophy, my trophy, while I sat in the audience, invisible. That night, my chest tightened, not with anger but with clarity. I wasn't just a colleague to her. I was a resource to be mined. I began saving everything. Every email, every sketch, every version of my work went onto that USB, locked in my drawer like a secret weapon. I didn't want to fight, not then. I still believed hard work would speak for itself. But Vanessa's gaze grew colder over time, her compliments replaced by sharp critiques in front of the team. She'd interrupt me in meetings, rephrasing my ideas as hers, her eyes daring me to challenge her. Arthur, half retired and charmed by her polish, saw only her results. My colleagues noticed, though. Claire, a junior designer, would slip me timestamped files, her silent way of saying she saw the truth. Even the receptionist, Mark, gave me knowing nods when Vanessa's name topped another project. Now, sitting at my desk, the USB felt heavier, a lifeline and a burden. Vanessa's mention of Portland Connect echoed in my mind, a puzzle piece that didn't fit. I'd never worked on it, yet Marcus Tate's visit hours ago suggested otherwise. My fingers grazed the drawer, but I stopped. Opening it now, in the open office, felt reckless. Instead, I pulled up an old email from Vanessa, one I'd nearly forgotten. Great work on Community Hub, Daniel, it read. Your instincts are gold. I need that magic for the next pitch. The word stung, a relic of her pretense before she showed her claws. I closed it, my pulse quickening. Whatever she was planning, it was bigger than Everstream, bigger than me. As I stood to leave, Claire passed by, her eyes flicking to my desk. Be careful, she mouthed, gone before I could respond. My stomach twisted, a new weight settling in. Vanessa wasn't just pushing me out. She was setting a trap, and I was already caught in its shadow. Claire's warning lingered as I left the office, her words a faint echo against the hum of San Francisco's evening streets. The USB sat heavy in my pocket, a silent partner to my racing thoughts. Portland Connect. The name gnawed at me, unfamiliar yet tied to Marcus Tate's visit, a thread I couldn't place. I, Daniel Harper, felt the ground shifting beneath me, as if Vanessa Cole's game had grown darker than I'd imagined. Back at my apartment, I barely noticed the clutter of takeout boxes on the counter. My phone buzzed, a call from Pinnacle's receptionist, Mark. Daniel, someone from Horizon Tech was asking for you at the front desk. Said it's about a consultation for Portland Connect. My breath caught. I hadn't done any consultation, not for Horizon, our biggest rival. I'm on my way, I said, grabbing my jacket. The drive back to the office was a blur, my mind spinning with possibilities. Had Vanessa slipped up, or was this another move in her chess game? In the lobby, Marcus Tate waited, his polished suit a stark contrast to the fluorescent buzz of the space. Mess. Cole mentioned you'd consulted on Portland Connect, he began, pulling up a tablet. We're impressed with the designs she shared. My stomach lurched as he swiped through screens, revealing an interface I'd sketched months ago, a side project born from sleepless nights. Flexible menus, adaptive layouts, every pixel unmistakably mine, yet altered just enough to pass as new. Vanessa presented these as a Pinnacle Horizon collaboration, Marcus continued, his tone casual but probing. We've pitched them to Portland's city planners already. I fought to keep my face neutral, my pulse hammering. I need to clarify something with my team, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. Marcus nodded, but his eyes lingered, as if he sensed a fracture beneath my words. As he left, I stood rooted, the lobby's hum fading to a dull roar. Vanessa hadn't just stolen my work for Pinnacle's glory. She'd sold it to Horizon, passing my late-night dreams as her own to secure a deal that could reshape the tech landscape. The betrayal cut deeper than any boardroom slight, a violation that left me raw. I rode the elevator back to my floor, the mirrored walls reflecting my clenched jaw. The office was quieter now, most colleagues gone, but the glow of a few monitors betrayed late workers. I passed Claire's desk, empty, her warning from earlier now a flare in the dark. My own desk felt like a crime scene, the drawer with my USB a vault I didn't dare touch yet. Instead, I opened my laptop, pulling up project logs. Nothing on Portland Connect, not a trace of my involvement, yet Marcus's tablet told a different story. Vanessa had accessed my files, likely during a Teams sync when I'd stepped away, her fingers weaving a web I was only now seeing. As I shut my laptop, a notification pinged. An internal memo, flagged urgent. Pinnacle announces strategic talks with Horizon Tech for Portland Connect. Vanessa Cole to lead. My chest tightened, not with shock but with clarity. She wasn't just pushing me out. She was building a throne on my work, and this deal was her coronation. I slipped the USB into my bag, its weight a promise. Whatever Vanessa thought she'd won, I was still in the game, and the board was about to flip. The memo about Vanessa's lead on Portland Connect burned in my mind as I left the office, the USB a quiet weight in my bag. San Francisco's fog curled around me, matching the haze of betrayal that clouded my thoughts. I, Daniel Harper, felt the walls closing in, Vanessa's scheme now a beast with teeth I hadn't yet seen. Claire's warning from yesterday echoed, a signal I couldn't ignore, urging me to move faster. I reached a quiet diner a few blocks from Pinnacle, its neon sign flickering in the dusk. Claire had texted me an hour ago, her message cryptic, "Meet me at Rusty's, 7 p.m. Urgent." I slid into a booth, the vinyl creaking under me, my eyes scanning the nearly empty room. Claire slipped in moments later, her hoodie pulled low, her usual warmth replaced by a tense edge. She didn't sit. "I found something, Daniel," she whispered, sliding a flash drive across the table. "Vanessa got into your system last month, during your Seattle trip. This has proof." My fingers closed around the drive, its cool metal a jolt to my senses. Claire leaned closer, her voice barely audible. "She sent emails from your account to Horizon Tech, attaching Portland Connect drafts. They're staged to look like you leaked them." My pulse spiked, a cold sweat prickling my neck. Vanessa wasn't just stealing my work. She was framing me as a traitor, building a narrative to bury me for good. "I checked the logs myself," Claire added, her eyes darting to the door. "She used a backdoor in the server. I'd missed it, but I didn't." I nodded, slipping the drive into my pocket beside my own USB, their combined weight like anchors grounding me. "Thank you," I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside. Claire's jaw tightened. "She'll come for me if she knows I helped you. Be quick, Daniel." She vanished into the fog before I could respond, leaving me alone with the diner's hum and a truth that cut deeper than I'd expected. Vanessa's plan wasn't impulsive. It was surgical, every step calculated to erase me while she climbed. Back home, I plugged Claire's drive into my laptop, my hands trembling as I opened the files. There they were, emails timestamped during my Seattle trip, sent from my account to a Horizon address, with my Portland Connect sketches attached. The wording was off, too formal, not mine, but clever enough to fool a cursory glance. My chest ached, not just from betrayal but from violation, as if Vanessa had reached into my life and twisted it. I backed up Claire's evidence to my cloud, my fingers moving on instinct. The USBs sat side by side on my desk, twin sentinels of a fight I hadn't chosen but couldn't avoid. As I shut my laptop, my phone lit up with another Pinnacle alert. All staff meeting tomorrow, 10 a.m. Special announcement. My gut twisted. Vanessa was moving fast, and I was running out of time. Whatever she had planned, I'd be ready, but the shadow of her trap loomed larger than ever. The diner's neon glow faded into memory as I sat at my desk the next morning, the USBs from Claire and me nestled in my bag like grenades waiting to be thrown. Pinnacle's open plan office buzzed with pre-meeting chatter, but I, Daniel Harper, felt a stillness inside, a coiled spring ready to snap. Vanessa Cole's trap, revealed by Claire's evidence last night, loomed over me, its edges sharper with every passing minute. The all-staff meeting loomed, a stage I sensed was set to crush me. I took a seat at the back of the conference room, the air thick with anticipation. Colleagues filled the rows, their whispers a low hum as Arthur Klein, our founder, stepped to the podium. Vanessa stood beside him, her crimson blazer a bold contrast to her serene smile, a predator cloaked in charm. Arthur cleared his throat. Today marks a new era for Pinnacle Innovations, he began, his voice carrying the weight of years. We're joining forces with Horizon Tech on Portland Connect, a game-changer for urban connectivity. The screen behind him lit up, displaying my Portland Connect interface, its adaptive menus and fluid transitions unmistakable, though branded with Pinnacle and Horizon logos. My stomach twisted, each pixel a stab to the heart, my private work now a public trophy for Vanessa. This vision, Arthur continued, led by Vanessa Cole, has already won Portland's City Council over. She's proven herself a true innovator. Applause rippled through the room, but I felt only a cold void, my hands gripping the chair to keep steady. Vanessa stepped forward, her eyes sweeping the crowd, pausing on me for a heartbeat, a glint of triumph in them. Portland Connect redefines user engagement, she said, clicking through my designs as if they'd sprung from her mind. Her words painted a future I'd dreamed up, now stolen and polished for her glory. The room clapped again, louder, but my pulse thundered, drowning it out. Arthur raised a hand. To helm this new chapter, I'm naming Vanessa our Chief Creative Officer, effective immediately. The applause became a roar, but I stood, my chair scraping loudly. I need to speak with you, Arthur, I said, my voice cutting through the noise. About Portland Connect's origins. Heads turned, murmurs rising. Vanessa's smile tightened, a crack in her facade. Arthur hesitated, but nodded. Let's take this to my office, he said, gesturing for me to follow. Vanessa moved swiftly, her heels clicking as she intercepted us in the hallway. Arthur, we should finalize the press release first, she said smoothly. And I've got concerns about Daniel's recent performance. My jaw clenched, her words a blade aimed at my throat. Concerns, I repeated, forcing calm. Like what? Vanessa produced a tablet, swiping to a document. Missed deadlines, unclear contributions, and some troubling overlap with Horizon's files, she said, her tone dripping with false regret. I've documented it all. Arthur frowned, glancing between us. This sounds serious, he said. Daniel, you've been valued here, but these issues change things. I opened my mouth to protest, but Vanessa pressed on, relentless. I suspect he's been sharing sensitive designs outside Pinnacle, she said, her eyes locking onto mine, daring me to falter. My chest burned, Claire's flash drive flashing in my mind, proof of her lies so close yet useless in this ambush. Arthur sighed. Given the partnership's stakes, we can't delay, he said. Daniel, we're terminating your contract today. HR has your exit terms ready. Vanessa handed me a folder, her fingers brushing mine, a victor's touch. Standard severance, she said. Clear your desk by noon. The room spun, my colleagues' faces blurring as I walked out, the folder heavy in my hand. Vanessa called after me, her voice soft but venomous. I'll handle the team's transition, Daniel. Don't worry. I didn't look back, my steps measured despite the rage clawing inside. At my desk, I packed methodically, the USBs first, then a framed photo of my son, a sketchbook, a mug chipped from late nights. Claire's desk was empty, her absence a pang of worry. Had Vanessa sensed her betrayal? As I zipped my bag, Mark, the receptionist, approached, his face grim. "I'm sorry, man," he whispered. "We know whose work that was up there." His words were a lifeline, thin but real. I nodded, unable to speak, and headed for the elevator. The doors closed, sealing me in with my evidence and a fire that refused to die. Vanessa thought she'd broken me, but this wasn't the end. Not by a long shot. The elevator's hum faded as I stepped into my apartment, the weight of Pinnacle's severance folder still in my bag, but the USBs burned hotter, twin beacons of defiance. I, Daniel Harper, sat at my kitchen table, the city's glow filtering through the blinds, my laptop open like a battlefield. Vanessa Cole's victory in that conference room hours ago felt final, but Claire's evidence, and my own had shifted the ground beneath me. I wasn't done fighting. I plugged in both USBs, my fingers steady despite the pulse hammering in my ears. Claire's drive held the forged emails, sent from my account during my Seattle trip, pinning me as a leaker. Mine held something older, a forgotten thread from 2 years back. Vanessa's words glowed on the screen. "Daniel, your community hub layout is a game changer. I need you to lead the next sprint." Her own keystrokes, admitting my work drove her success, a crack in her armor I'd overlooked until now. I backed everything to a secure cloud, layering screenshots, metadata, and server logs Claire had flagged. Each click felt like loading a weapon, precise and deliberate. My phone buzzed, Arthur Klein's name flashing. "Daniel, we need to talk," his voicemail said. "Portland's council is asking questions about the designs." "Call me." My heart leapt, a spark of hope cutting through the fog. I dialed back, arranging to meet at a neutral coffee shop downtown, away from Pinnacle's glass walls. Sleep eluded me that night, my mind replaying Vanessa's smirk, the folder's insult, but also Arthur's tone, strained, uncertain. Something had rattled him. Morning came, sharp and cold. I walked into the coffee shop, the USBs in my jacket, my laptop bag heavy with printouts. Arthur sat alone, his silver hair disheveled, a far cry from the polished founder of yesterday. "Portland's team pressed Vanessa on technical details," he said, stirring his coffee absently. She stumbled. "Daniel? Couldn't explain the adaptive frameworks. One planner mentioned your community hub, saw similarities." My jaw tightened, the spark flaring brighter. "I have proof those designs are mine," I said, my voice low but firm. "Original files, emails, everything." Arthur's eyes narrowed. "Vanessa says you took those files when you left," he said, leaning forward. "We need them to save the partnership." My blood boiled, her lies still slithering even now. "Reinstate me," I countered, sliding a printout of her old email across the table. "Clear my record, give me credit, and keep Vanessa off my work." Arthur scanned the page, his face paling. "This is serious," he muttered, "but the board's already behind her promotion." I stood, gathering my papers. "Then I'll take this to Portland's council and the tech press myself," I said. "Your call, Arthur." He didn't answer, but as I left, my phone lit up with an email from Marcus Tate at Horizon. "Portland's requesting a meeting to clarify design origins," it read. "Your input would be key." Another followed, from a city planner. "We'd value your perspective on Portland Connect's core mechanics," it said. My lips twitched, a rare smile breaking through. Vanessa's house of cards was wobbling, and she didn't even know. The next day, Pinnacle's boardroom was a crucible, packed with Arthur, 2 board members, Marcus, the Portland planners, and Vanessa, her composure frayed at the edges. I walked in last, laptop ready, the USBs in my pocket like silent allies. Arthur opened the meeting, his voice tight. "We're here to settle questions about Portland Connect's authorship," he said. Vanessa stood, her smile forced. "I regret any confusion," she began, but Daniel's role was minor, a starting point I elevated. I connected my laptop to the projector, cutting her off. Let me show you, I said, my tone calm but unyielding. For 20 minutes, I laid it bare, my original files, time-stamped months before Vanessa's pitch, their metadata untouched, Claire's logs proving her server breach, the forged emails, clumsy in their mimicry, and Vanessa's own words, praising my community hub as hers faltered. The room grew still, the planner's eyes narrowing as Vanessa shifted in her seat. Those timestamps are fake, she snapped, her voice rising. He's sabotaging me out of spite. Marcus cleared his throat. Our analysts verified the metadata, he said, his tone clipped. These are the source files, no question. Arthur added, softer, IT confirmed unauthorized access to Daniel's system last month. Vanessa's face drained of color, her hands gripping the table. Arthur, you can't believe this, she said, but he raised a hand. Enough, Vanessa, he said, his voice final. You're done here. She was escorted out within the hour, her heels echoing in the hallway, a defeated rhythm. The board met privately, emerging with a decision. Arthur faced me, his eyes weary. You're reinstated, Daniel, he said. Chief Creative Officer, starting now. Portland wants you to lead Connect directly. I nodded, the weight lifting but not gone. The planners shook my hand, their trust a quiet vindication. Later, an all-staff email went out, Arthur's words clear. Daniel Harper designed Portland Connect and our award-winning apps. Vanessa's claims were false. As I left the boardroom, Claire caught my eye from the crowd, a small nod her only sign. I exhaled, the USBs lighter now, their purpose served. Vanessa had fallen, but I'd risen, not just to reclaim my work but to redefine my place in a world that almost forgot me. The boardroom's echo faded as I stepped into my new office, the title of Chief Creative Officer still settling around me like an unfamiliar coat. Weeks had passed since Vanessa Cole's fall, but I, Daniel Harper, carried the scars of her betrayal in every quiet moment. Portland Connect was now mine to lead, its code humming with purpose under my hands, a testament to truth reclaimed. I stood before Pinnacle's team one morning, sunlight streaming through the windows, and unveiled new protocols for design credits, ensuring no one's work would be buried again. The room nodded, eyes bright with trust, a stark contrast to the whispers that once shadowed my name. Portland's city planners had embraced my vision, their emails flooding my inbox with praise for the app's seamless flow. Horizon Tech, now a true partner, sent regular updates, Marcus Tate's voice warm with respect during our calls. The project thrived, linking communities in ways I'd once only sketched in solitude. Vanessa's shadow lingered though, a cautionary tale whispered in tech circles. 2 other designers surfaced online, their stories mirroring mine, tales of stolen prototypes and erased contributions. Her name became a warning, her career a ghost after she left the industry, chased by the truths she tried to outrun. I felt no joy in her ruin, only a quiet resolve to build something better from the wreckage. At home, I sat across from my son, Jake, his teenage skepticism softened by the clink of dinner plates. You fought for years, Dad, he said, his fork pausing midair. Was it worth it, all that time under her thumb? I leaned back, the question stirring memories of Vanessa's smirk, the weight of that severance folder. No, I said, my voice steady. Those years stung, but standing up, proving what's mine, that's worth everything. Jake grinned, a rare spark in his eyes, and I saw myself in him, a kid learning to hold his ground. I walked to my desk later, the USBs now tucked in a drawer, relics of a war won. My laptop glowed with Portland Connect's latest build, its interface alive with feedback from real users. I'd mentored a new designer that week, her mock-ups rough but full of promise, a reminder of why I stayed in this fight. The industry had noticed, too, with conference invites piling up, my name no longer a footnote. Vanessa's collapse taught me integrity's cost, a price I'd pay again to keep my soul intact. I learned to trust my voice, to fight not just for credit but for a world where ideas belong to their creators. As I closed my laptop, peace settled in, hard-earned and fierce. This journey's end hits hard, doesn't it? Are you cheering for the win or stunned by the twists? Drop your thoughts below. If this tale lit a spark, hit like and subscribe for more stories that grip your heart. Thanks for riding along. See you in the next one.